Welcome to the Kop TV, the voice of football's most famous stand. Yes, top of the morning to you. Good morning and welcome to the Kop TV, the voice of football's most famous stand. We've got a lot of previewing to do today on the Kop TV, episode 13. And who better to do it with me than someone who knows exactly what he's talking about? Mr. Darren Whelan, all the way from Dublin. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Alex. Even an early hour for me in the morning, I'll try and know what I'm talking about just as much as I do later. So, good morning.
Yes.
Hope all's well, bud.
Yeah, man, all good. Darren's been on the streams last night. He had a late one, so I appreciate the early start from you this morning, mate. Love that. I know you're on James's channel last night. So let us know if you're with me. Jamie Lane, good morning, people. How are you?
Good morning,
we are
Jamie.
Well. And I'll tell you what, the sun is semi-out. I'm going to go for a kickabout after this. So, yeah, things are good. And obviously, it will be a lot better if we can win tomorrow. Let's get into the first game of the weekend, though, Darren. It's actually this one. Burnley versus Arsenal. This kicks off at 12:30 today. If we look at the form table, I mean, it's not looking good, really, for both teams in terms of how the season is panning out. They both would have wanted to be doing better than this. Burnley obviously did play well. They obviously beat us at Anfield, Darren. They're 15th now. Arsenal in 10th, 2 wins in 5. This one kicks off at 12:30. I mean, Arsenal with 2 wins in a row in all comps. If they win this one, do we now start about them maybe challenging us to kind of push for those late European spots?
Hopefully not. I don't think so. No, Arsenal have been very inconsistent this season. That they have, as you said, they've probably been playing a bit better lately and getting better results. They're 11 points ahead, I think it is, of Burnley. Burnley are 6 points above the relegation. So it's strange when this game, because Burnley, up until late, they don't concede a lot of goals. I think they conceded 35, 36 goals this season. For a side that's down there, that's not a lot of goals. But then Spurs came to town and beat them by 4 a day. It was very convincing from them. Probably could have been more. Arsenal, I don't know. Burnley are at home. I'm going to go for a draw on this. I think Burnley, they are a very resilient team, physical, organised. Arsenal struggle against teams like that. It's away from home. Burnley at home. They'll use the experience of like going to Anfield and stuff like that and winning. They've had some good results this season. But I think they'll be safe. I do. I think Sean Dyche's doing a great job there. They're missing the centre-back. One of the centre-backs is Ben Mee is injured for the rest of the season, so they're going to miss him, because Tarkowski is a brilliant centre-back, and the two of them together were really good, and they might have been looking at possibly getting higher in the league if they had him fit along with Tarkowski. So I think a draw. I'm going to go for 1-1 in this. Burnley don't concede a lot of goals, although lately they proved wrong by conceding 4 against an Arsenal. They're a hit and miss, really, aren't they? But respect to Arsenal, they have turned things around. They started with that win back a couple of months ago against Chelsea at home. They won 3-1. They really laid down a marker in that and saved Arteta's job, because the talk going into that was Arteta loses, he's probably gone, although I don't think that was right either. But there's still a bit of a soft touch. I'm going to go for 1-1 in this.
Jamie Lane actually agrees with you. He's going for 1-0 as well for the 12:30 kickoff. The newspapers today saying that Ben Mee will play, apparently, and Tarkowski. That's their predicted lineup, the one I'm reading anyway. Lowton and Taylor, they reckon. Westwood, Cork, McNeil and Goodmanson in midfield. Matty Vidra up front with Wood. No Barnes today, apparently, but Vidra did score in his last game. And then Arsenal have gone for a team, a predicted team that consists of Leno Bellerin, Louise, Gabriel Tierney, Partey coming back in with Xhaka, Odegaard, Saka, Pepe and Aubameyang. Arsenal, to be honest, they could really change any of that front four by bringing on Emile Smith-Rowe, obviously Lacazette, obviously some of the other guys in that position there as well. So, it'd be a tough one. Last year it was 0-0 this fixture, so I am going to go for 1-0 as well. I do think this will be a draw. Arsenal don't really like playing early in the morning, so I'm going to go for a draw. We'll get into this one now. Tottenham versus Crystal Palace. This is a game, really, that has thrown up some classics down the years. I think back to that game that Dele Alli scores that up and over goal at Palace. This one is at Tottenham, where really, Tottenham's form, I mean, we can't talk at all, but Tottenham's form has been poor at home this season. This one kicks off at 7:15 tomorrow, Tottenham 8th. But if they win this, Darren, they have got a game in hand of us. If they win this, they go 2 points clear of us. So we all know what Liverpool, the result that Liverpool will be hoping for. Palace in 13th, 34 points, 1 win in 5. How do you see this one, Darren?
I'm hoping Spurs do drop points, and they probably will, because as you said, they've struggled at home. Palace coming to town won't make it easy for them, but then we Spurs have had a really convincing win against Burnley of late, so they'll be up for this, and they need wins. Like, it's so strange to think that how bad they've been, particularly since we beat them and they drew at Palace earlier in the season, and then a couple of days later we played them, we went ahead of them, top of the league. Their form has been terrible since then. But if they win, they can go ahead of us. So that just sums up how we really have been. We're the point ahead of them. They have a game in hand. So we kick off earlier than them tomorrow. So we have a chance of going 4 ahead of them. So if we win tomorrow, even though they have a game in hand, they can't get ahead of us no matter what their result is. But I do think Spurs will win 2-1. But I hope they drop points. I'm going to go Tottenham 2, Palace 1 in this one.
Slim home win. I'm actually going to go for. I'm going to be hopeful in this one, Darren. I'm going for a 2-1 away win. Palace to win 2-1. Mm-hmm. Wilfried Zaha and Jeffrey Schlupp are back apparently, which is a huge
big
plus
boost
for Palace, especially on that left-hand side. And Wilf does really seem to have Tottenham's number when he plays them. So I'm keen for a Palace win. Tottenham can't go above us. They've had an awful season, as are we. But I don't think it's still as bad as Tottenham, to be honest. So hoping that Palace can pull off a win there and sort us out, as it were. Let's get into this one, a big one. On Sunday evening, the Manchester derby isn't really what it was. I mean, these games now, they're just so boring. Especially when United are involved in these games, which involve the Big Six. So many 0-0s this season. I don't think they've won a game against the Big Six. Bruno hasn't really featured in any kind of big victory against the Big Six either. So they'll be going into this one, obviously, hugely underdogs, really, even though they will be... where is this one? It's away, actually. So, I mean, City, big favourites here, Darren. 20 games they've won in a row. We all know how far ahead they are in the league table. They've just won game after game after game. Is this one going to be a home win?
Absolutely, yeah. You can't see anything else. What I will say is when it came to City and United in the last few seasons, United have actually upset a lot of people, the neutrals or the other blue half of Manchester, by getting wins. And we seen a couple of seasons ago where wasn't a City were beating them and United come back and it was to get the trophy lift and they came back from behind. Pogba put on a great display that day. But this is different. Like, I mean, you're talking about a City side that have went through the whole season and only conceded, I think it's 17 late goals. So City have a couple of different ways of winning. They don't have to come out tomorrow and go all gung-ho and that intensity, that energy, be really creative. They can still win a game 1-0. I watched them at Arsenal a few weeks ago. They got a goal after 2 minutes. They just stayed in second or third gear the rest of the game, kept a clean sheet and got away with the 3 points and deserved it on the day as well. They were very professional and commanding. And I think this one will be definitely a City win. It's hard to call what will happen because at the same time, United have nothing to lose. So they will come out and give it everything. There's a bit of pride probably at stake and there's something for them to leave City with a bit of a sing-song about, I think, because they're 14 points behind. If they were to pull up a miracle and win tomorrow, you're talking 11 points. It's still there's not going to be a turnaround on that. But City have a chance for all to seal it tomorrow by going 17 clear. I don't see anything else than a convincing City win. I'm going to go for 3-1 to City in this one.
3-1 to City in this one. Kevin De Bruyne leading the way in terms of assists this season with 11, joint there with Harry Kane. He is having a great season, but if there's one thing that maybe people can aim at Bruno, it's the fact that he doesn't really perform in these big games. You look at someone like Aguero, Vardy. These guys always come up trumps really in the big games and score.
Yeah, I've watched a lot of Bruno this season, Alex, against the top sides, and what I also noticed was he doesn't do anything off the ball in the big games. There was nothing done off the ball, and I did say a while back that was probably one of the reasons why when there was talk of us probably going in from in that January window when he was at Sporting, that we probably didn't go in from because he wouldn't have suited our style of play, because we need someone. It's not all about being a technical player at Liverpool. It's about that work rate, that attitude, and I didn't see a lot of that, particularly in the big games. But look, I mean, his goals, his assists speaks for itself. He's done a lot. He's always guaranteed to score a penalty, probably always guaranteed to get one as well. So look, I mean, credit to him. He's had an unbelievable couple of seasons. He's definitely changed things at United there. He's done wonders, and they wouldn't be where they are without him. So, yeah, I suppose you have to give some respect to his name, but he's not. It's very hard to say he's an elite player in the big games, because against any of the big sides this season, when it's mattered, he hasn't been there. So, no.
He's not been there. So everyone really going for a home win on this one. I mean, City is so far away, it doesn't really matter what scores they get anymore. Obviously, we'd like United to drop as many points as possible. So, yeah, I think everyone in this chat right now is going for a City win. Do let us know if you are watching what you think about this one. Syed going for a 0-0, which, to be honest, if that was the score, it wouldn't surprise me as well.
No.
Which is mad considering. But when United are involved, that is the score that does crop up a lot. You saw Solskjaer the other day come out and say there has been no dip in form. But when you look at the last kind of 10 to 15 matches, the form's all over the place, Darren. A lot of draws, a lot of slim wins. Obviously, a couple of really big, impressive wins against the likes of Southampton and Real Sociedad. So up and down, really, like a trampoline salesman. Not too sure which way this one is going to go, but we can all really expect a home win, to be honest. David here says, hey guys, just got here. My head will explode if we don't win tomorrow, but yes, City will win. This one then is on Monday night. We are going to get into the Liverpool game in detail next up, guys, so do stick with us. But Chelsea and Everton, this one kicks off on Monday night at Stamford Bridge. We obviously have just lost to Chelsea. They're on great form now under Tuchel, haven't lost, which does pain me, to be honest, because I did think that we kind of, you know, with all due respect, shit all over Chelsea this season. So to see them 3 places above us now, 4 points clear, is a huge, huge shame. But this one is actually super interesting, Darren. This will be the last game of the weekend, so you can expect Chelsea and Everton to maybe drop in the table. But if this one is a belter, then Everton could go above Chelsea and take that 4th position. They're only 1 point behind Chelsea with a game in hand. 4th versus 5th, this one, Darren. How do you see it?
Hard one again to call. I mean, if Chelsea turn up and do what they done during the night, keep the basics right, defend really well, like defend as a team, attacking spirit, that they've every chance. They're at home. Look, Chelsea are full of confidence at the moment. Since they've changed manager, Tuchel's come in. I think they're unbeaten in his first 10 or 11 games, wherever it is. They've only conceded 2 goals. They haven't had a lot of wins, but they've had a couple of draws. But I think the big test for them and the big win was when they went to Atletico in the Champions League. That was a very convincing win against a really good, tough physical team in Atletico. We know how good they are, especially away from home. They're probably going to win La Liga as well this season and make some history. Everton, again, you know, we've seen them before they played us. They lost at home to Fulham, which was a surprise. They're not doing great at Goodison. Then they lost to City. Then they come out away to us, played really well, deserved the 2-0 win against us. So Everton seem to do really well on the road. And I don't know. I think they could actually, if they win, they go into the top 4 or 2 ahead of them because they have a game in hand. They could go 2 ahead of Chelsea. I think a draw on this one. I'm going to go for 2-2 on this one. I think this is going to be the last game of the weekend. It's going to have goals. It's going to be exciting. And I think a lot of people look at this and think there won't be many goals. Chelsea don't concede a lot. Everton have been good defensively too in the big game. So I just think that there'll be a bit of action in this, and I'm going to go for 2-2.
2-2, yeah. Jamie Lane says 2-2. Syed 2-1. David says 2-1 to Chelsea. Anfield Agenda memes says, I hope this one is a draw. John Herbert from Family Guy. Herbert the pervert, big up to you, mate. I want Everton to win. Anfield Agenda, I don't want Everton to win because they will have a bigger lead against us. But then John says it doesn't matter. All kicking off in the comments here. People are confused at whether they want Everton to win or not. Yeah, I mean, this one, whatever result it is, really, doesn't really kind of bode well for Liverpool. The best we could probably hope for is a draw, to be honest. Let both teams drop points. So I'm going to go for 2-2 as well. And John Herbert says we'll finish below them both anyway. That is the sad, sad reality of this season, and he's probably not wrong. Anyway, that is for another occasion. But now, the one you've all been waiting for. As you know, as you can see in the title of this video, when will we win at home? 5 defeats in a row, which, Darren, you're one for the stats and facts and figures. Normally, when we do break a record this season for all the wrong reasons, it's a 1960, it's a 75. If it's really bad, it might be a 1929 since this has last happened. This is so bad that this has actually never happened before. There's no precedent here. We have lost 5 games in a row for the first time in our 112-year history, guys. It's not good at all. I'm just going to reel off some facts and figures before I get Darren in for this one. Liverpool have now picked up just 10 points from 11 top-flight outings since the turn of the year. This would actually leave us 4th from bottom if 2021 was a league table, and it has seen us obviously sink to 7th, 4 points off the Champions League places. We've never lost a Premier League game against a newly promoted side under Klopp at home, picking up 43 points from a possible 45, while they only have 1 loss of their 23 top-flight home meetings against Fulham. So all the omens are there for us. Fulham have only ever scored 3 Premier League goals against Liverpool at Anfield, failing to find the back of the net in 11 of their 14 visits. The run will have taught Liverpool not to rely on history, although Fulham have plenty of reasons to be hopeful as they search for a victory which could lift them out of the relegation zone. Let's not forget they played really well on Thursday night, only narrowly beaten by Tottenham, and they definitely would have thought that they deserved a point in that one. Their form, funnily enough, is actually way better than ours. They've drawn 4, won 2, and lost 1 of their last 6. Obviously, we've lost 5 and won 1. Kabak is out. He has a little problem, according to Klopp, but there is better news for Nat Phillips. He is expected to be in contention. And now the other issue, of course, is does Fabinho go into midfield or does he partner Nat Phillips? Me personally, and I'm sure Darren will agree, I want Ben Davies in as soon as possible. Van Dijk, Gomez, Matip, Henderson, Kelleher all out still, but hopefully Jota can come back in for Fulham. Darren, Rodak and Kearney are the only really injuries that they do have. Zambo Anguissa, Bobby DeCorva, Reed and Kenny Tete apparently all coming back. Listen, it's going to be a tough one. The website that I'm reading does predict the game 1-1. We will get into a slight lineup prediction as well, Darren, but what is the score going to be in this one? It's so clear that we need to win this game.
It's a massive game, and who would have thought it? I mean, so unprecedented times that we've broken, as you said, our own record this season by being the first time ever in the club's history. You look at the records we've had in the Jurgen Klopp since he's come in, particularly last season, the season before, we are breaking records for fun. It's really like a bad nightmare that you just don't wake up from, and someone says no, this is, you're living this. It really, really is. I mean, it's been awful. And what's really annoyed me and got to me more than anything, okay, the results are one thing, but it's the attitude, it's the desire, the commitment from players. And I mentioned the other night on the match preview, match reaction, that it's like we're in a friendly. It's like players are going out, they don't want to put in a tackle, they don't want to lift the leg, they don't want to come back, they don't want to keep the simple things right, the basics. And we're known for being the mentality monsters, and I was always one to be echoing that and to be screaming how good we are mentally, because football is not rocket science. You don't have to be technically brilliant, you just have to go out with the right attitude, be a team, make sure that when you're at home, you're hard, you're tough to beat, you make sure that team works harder than you give them a lot to think about. But Chelsea, even during the night, Alex, it's not that they were great, we just made them better. Christensen got man the match, who's being awful under Lampard for them. I mean, he must be thinking, we've come to Anfield where they've been unbeaten in 67. Okay, they're in a bad run of form at the moment, but he would not have expected the game to be so easy. So the attitude and that desire, that commitment, that work rate, all that's going to have to change. And I honestly do think the players owe Klopp more than he owes them. Okay, Klopp will put his hands up in team selections and stuff, but he's went through a bad time. He's had difficulties this season that we only found out a couple of weeks later, which was awful to hear, by the way. But I mean, the players really, they haven't laid down the marker. They haven't stood up for him. He has made some of these players their careers. He's made players superstars in this team, and I don't see them giving him at him back. I don't see them playing with that.
I totally agree.
With that fight and that aggression, we don't have it anymore, and that is such a shame, because I believe we would have easily got an extra 6, 7, 8 points if we had had that alone. Never mind doing all the technical stuff, we would have, and we wouldn't be in the position that we're in. But unfortunately, it is what it is, and it's the players really I put it down to more so than Jurgen Klopp. But we're playing a side, they've only won 4 games this season. They are going to be tough, because when we went away to them, we battered them for most of it, but we were probably lucky to come away with the point at the same time, because at this one stage they could have been 2-0 up against us when they took the early lead. It's going to be really tough, and they're going to be confident, and they're coming to Anfield. There's no crowd. It's like a friendly. They'll feel like there's nothing to lose. And I played in games like that myself, and once you weather that bit of a storm, you get through that quarter of the game, you feel, well, okay, let's try new things here. If we get a goal against these will just fall. It's awful to say, but one part of me does say, and I've said this last night on one of the shows, that there's going to be something for us to play for this season, whether that's top 4, whether it's going far in Europe, whatever. I just have that in me. And maybe I'm mad, maybe I'm deluded for thinking that, but there's just something in me that says this season is going to end with something to smile or cheer about, and something to say, well, that we can use that going into next season. But at the moment, I'm not seeing that, and realistically, that's probably not going to happen. But for whatever reason, I think we might. Maybe it's just a positive in me. Maybe it's just the good vibes I have. I want to have newborn vibes here, not funeral vibes. But let's see how it goes. It probably will be a draw, and I'm going to predict a draw. And the reason being is because I predicted us to win every other game, and it hasn't happened. So maybe if I say a draw now, we'll win. But we have to win. I've been saying it can't get any worse, but it has. But surely at this stage, Alex, we're playing Fulham at home. We have Jota come back. We've Milner, we've Fabinho. It can only get better. Surely, can it not? I don't know.
Right, listen, great roundup there. I will add to it and say that, yeah, the thing that we've been most known for, the wide kind of build-up play, the attacking, the pressing, the just running to your man and closing them down, that's all disappeared. And to be honest with you, that's the one basic that we should all expect from a Liverpool team. Work hard, run fast, don't give the ball away. And that's just what we're doing in every single game. There's a really good lineup prediction here, Darren, which I actually totally agree with, and I won't make any changes to it. Jamie Lane says Alisson, Trent, Nat Phillips, Ben Davis to come in, Robertson, Fabinho, Jones, Keita in the middle. I'd like to see that tomorrow, to be honest with you. Shaqiri, Jota and Salah. Again, Firmino and Mane don't deserve to start this one for me. Both been awful. If anyone deserved to come off on the other night, it was Firmino for me. A couple more score predictions here from the lads. 2-1 Liverpool. Lads, I can't see anything but a 1-0 Fulham win. I know it's bad, but no positivity. Look at us. Surely it's a win, but I don't know, lads. Anger and pain to give us the 3-0, says David. I'm an Arsenal fan, but Liverpool will edge it. Trudon says 0-0. Mane given a rest. Jota in. Mane's not looking great. I'd agree with that. Fulham 0 Liverpool 1, says Jamie. Be honest. My brother Chelsea are playing well. They are. Klopp won't play Fab in midfield. These are all things that I'm open to knowing about. But one thing I will say, the other day I said, should I change my picture of Thiago on my wallpaper? I've only gone and done it, and look who's now my wallpaper. Is that beautiful, man? Nat Phillips. Come on, boy.
The man who was going to America on a scholarship. Yeah,
there you go. Darren knows how much. Darren knows how much I love Nat Phillips. Nat Phillips must play at centre-back tomorrow with Ben Davis. Klopp, if you're watching now, you probably aren't, mate. But you see this man here? He must start at centre-back.
Have
Do you know
to play
why?
him, Jurgen.
Because he's a centre-back. That's why. And he's fit. Yeah. He's not injured. So, yes, Nat Phillips. I'm going for him. There's the predicted lineup from Jamie Lane. We're going to call it a day now. I'm going for a 2-0 Liverpool win. Darren, thank you so much for coming on. It's been great to have you on so early.
Pleasure,
we normally speak to you where it's pitch black and horrible outside. But it's nice to speak to you so early.
I'm trying to get the hydra energetic look today in Dublin. There's a bit of sun out, so I want to kind of improve the skin, be a bit more glowing. So who knows? Maybe I will be more glowing if the result's better as well tomorrow. Let's say beat me using any kind of revitalised and hydra energetic holiday look cream.
Love that. Yeah,
have a good one, pal. Take care.
All right, all the best, Daz. See you soon, buddy. Yes, big up to you guys for watching as well. Jamie Lane, David. Let me know in the comments when this video has gone live well, just send in your scores, what you think the score is going to be. Of course, we'll be back with fan cam action tomorrow night and a huge week of content next week for us as well, with Champions League and Premier League as well, and all the normal shows, Kop to Bottom and Kop, Top of the Cops and Kop Bins. A lot of Cops, too many in fact. Right, that was Kop to Bottom. Go and watch the Arsenal Burnley game. Let us know how you think, and then we'll see you soon. Take care.